Good morning and welcome to the Shielded Prepper. And today is another great day. And we have an awesome article that'll remind us of why our eyes have to be open, as well as an awesome scripture that'll encourage you and remind you why we should be watching what's going on around us like a hawk. Because they're not looking to increase us, they're looking to increase themselves. Okay, let's get into this. Yesterday, if you watched the video yesterday, my heart was truly stirred, and I'm recovering from it today because it was just, it anchored me I don't even know how to explain it. Yet today, I'm encouraged because what I do focus on expands, and what we're focusing on in our household, like many of you that are like us, are focusing on the same thing. How to raise your children properly, how to get out of debt, how to prepare, how to prepare for others, why this is important. We're looking for side hustles. We're investing in gold and silver if we have it. Yeah, let's get into this article from the street today. And this one is rather uncomfortable for us to recognize what's coming. There is a tsunami. It's not even a wave. It is a tsunami that is in front of us, and they're redirecting all of this information. And it all comes down to debt. It all comes down to debt. This is out of the street. Record household debt could turn into a major problem. The household debt hit a record high of $16.5 trillion in the fourth quarter, or could hit it in the fourth quarter. And when you think about $16.5 trillion, half of our national debt, plus or minus, it is significant. And they measure it in percentages, which always makes it tricky to really connect those. Yet we're just going to keep it at $16.5 trillion, which it says is up 2.4% from the third quarter. We expect credit card and auto loan delinquencies and charge-offs to soon eclipse 2019 levels and continue to rise as inflation and the weakened job market weigh on household budgets. This is so true. Credit card debt is increasing, and if you have credit card debt, whatever you can do, run scared right now. And I wouldn't say a fear of what's going to happen, or have a bit of a fear of doing the wrong thing, which is increasing that debt. Residential mortgage performance will deteriorate only moderately, it says, even as home prices decline. This is not true. This will not happen. It will not be moderate. It will be significant. It's the only way. It's the only way that they can reset, is to have everything go and then build it back up. Residential mortgages and residential property values are not going to only moderately shift. And we know this. We've been following this. The Ninja Nation focuses on these things, and we read them often because they're giving us little clues. The analyst predicts credit card charge-offs will peak around 5% in 2024. It doesn't seem like a lot, yet it's millions. It's millions of people. Versus 3.5% in 2019. In 2019, right before all this happened, we were right on the cusp of it, and then we injected trillions back into it. We remember this. Just a couple of years, it seems like it's like warp speed has flown by. And they maintain that residential mortgage delinquencies and charge-offs will rise over the next 12 to 24 months. That's true. And the increase will likely be modest. This is not true. It's going to increase over the next 12 to 24 months. That's why, if you follow all of the influencers around this and inside of the nation, we know that we're preparing for a residential. It's the big piece of fruit that's just bowing down, that's ready to hit the ground. There's a little pin sitting there. It's just like, oh, it's going to go. I love this stuff. It's super uncomfortable, so I just have to laugh. Climbing interest rates may be testing some borrowers' ability to repay their debts. Interest rates may be testing some borrowers' ability to repay their debts. Maybe. This is going to keep going up. If the Fed keeps increasing, credit card and auto and all of the other borrowing components have to be added on. The banks have to make their percentage too. All of this interest that's now going to the banks and to the reserve and not going into our communities, it's not going into home improvements, it's not going into our children's extracurricular activities, it's not going in, it's interest. It's not putting a new roof on your house. It's going to the banks in form of interest. While person-level delinquencies are high, so single person, we do not anticipate widespread stress for lender portfolios as balance-weighted delinquencies remain at or below pre-pandemic levels. Okay. I can see that. Maybe the delinquencies haven't happened yet and they connect this really low unemployment rate that people are still able to do it. Yet we know that there's this pressure that's building domestically, at least in the state and all of that. In the state that I live in, I feel the pressure. I feel the pressure when I talk to people, just even at church or in the community or clients that I'm working with. You feel the pressure, and I know you do too, because if I see it and I feel it, you do too. The outlook isn't good for credit card debt. It's triple trouble for credit card borrowers. Triple trouble. Multiplied by 3. Triple trouble. Balances are up, rates are up, and more people are carrying credit card debt. It's a slow burn before it's going to implode. They can only do this for so long because they're living on credit cards and they only have so much remaining. And as the more credit we have, the lower our credit score comes down and the less options we have for borrowing. We know this. We know this. Another friendly reminder. There are 18.3 million borrowers behind on credit card payments at the end of 2022 compared to just 15.8 million at the end of 19. So there's been about a 20% increase in delinquencies from 19 to 22. We have to remember that debt is designed to enslave. It's designed to enslave. Scripture says this. I'm going to read 2 scriptures. Both are going to bless you. And they're both out of Proverbs 22. Verse 6 and verse 7. Verse 6 is a command that carries a promise, and it's a promise for parents. So parents, if you're in debt now, or you're working to get out of debt, I bless you and I encourage you, keep going. It's the narrow path that's difficult. It's the narrow gate that's difficult to get through. And few are going to find that. And wide is the path, and wide is the gate, and many therein will go. Yet choose the narrow path, choose the difficult path, and don't become weary in well-doing. This is going to keep us out of slavery. Slavery to these institutions that are designed to keep us pushed down and marginalize us so that they can have their will and their way over us. Man's will. Don't put your faith in man. Fail you every time. Okay, 22:6 out of Proverbs. Train your children up in the way that he should go. Now it uses the word he, not she. Sometimes we'll see in scripture, you'll see the word man. Well, man represents person. This is saying he. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The reason they're saying he is the head of household historically has always been he. It's always been he. And this is not to separate the capacity of she. It's rather the position of he. And why it's important for us men to stand up and begin to lead our families with power and conviction and knowledge. And as a father, it says right here, train up a child in the way he should go. Well, that comes from leadership. Raise your sons and your daughters. Raise them up in the ways they should go. And here's why we say this. And I coach my daughters with this too. Look for men that have the eventual husband that'll have great ethics and that had a great family upbringing, that if they didn't have a strong family upbringing, have made choices for themselves to improve their position in life. Look for these things. This is very important for our daughters to understand why partnering with someone who has focused on making themselves stronger spiritually and emotionally, and that they know these things. So I just encourage you with this. So this may land and rub you wrong, yet this is what it says. So if you believe part of the Bible, you got to believe it all. So I'm believing this here, and I'm not marginalizing our daughters. Our daughters are powerfully and they're fearfully and wonderfully made, and they're so special to us. Yet if you have sons, rear them proper, because they will be head of household one day if you allow that. If you allow yourself permission to train them, they're going to go forward and allow them to bless their children, their daughters, and their sons in the next generation. For the rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. Wow, do we know this? This is why we must rear our children and raise them up to understand how money works. We're starting this in our family. I didn't really understand this growing up wholly. My parents did an amazing job. Wonderful parents. And I'm just now learning in this later part of life why it's so important. I'm choosing to make these things, or choosing to change these things rather. So I encourage you today. So we'll read it again. Train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender. The borrower, the debt that is so high right now, is designed to create servants or slaves beneath the debt. It's so heavy. Where are people going to go? They're going to have to turn to the government. Get out, prepare your household. Don't miss an opportunity to raise your children up in the direction they should go so that they won't depart from it. And I bless you today, because all of these little reminders compound over time, and we'll remember them. So if you're at this point at 12 minutes and 20 seconds in this, I bless you. Hit the subscribe button. Send it to somebody that should hear this. This is more for our spirit. And remember, above all, take the shield of faith, and it'll protect you from all the fiery darts of the wicked one. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.